what you must do with this, Craig, is you must keep it nice and clean and dry and don't get it wet. See you next week.
Thanks.
Look after yourself.
It's mid-morning at Liverpool's Alder Children's Hospital.
Hello, Daniel.
Anaesthetist Fiona Reynolds has been called down to casualty.
I'm Fiona, I'm one of the doctors, Daniel. I hear you've stood on something. You've got a sore foot. What did you stand on? Don't know. What we
think it's something sharp.
Something sharp?
Yeah, maybe a little piece of glass or something.
So is that a little operation we need to fix your foot up? Yeah. How old are you? 4. OK. What I'm going to do is put you off to sleep so that we can get this piece of glass out. Has Mum told you about that? Right.
For the next 24 hours, Fiona is the on-call anaesthetist for all areas of the hospital.
He's in the queue of emergencies and basically his operation's probably not until about 7 o'clock this evening, I'm afraid. Is it sore just now? Well, we'll make it better. That's good, isn't it? Right, managed to upset him. Right, let's go and check at reception to see if they've got Nathan, who's a little chap who needs his appendix out today. Hi, I'm Fiona. I'm one of the anaesthetists. Now, I understand you need your appendix out. You had some painkillers.
I tried to have some, but I brought them back up.
Oh, you're feeling sick as well?
While he's been here, he's been in a tremendous amount of pain, so I was wondering if we can give him anything now for the pain.
Right, yes, Are you going to be able to keep something down?
I don't know.
Right. We could give you a special tablet in your bottom while you're awake. Would you prefer that?
Yes.
It's quite a strong painkiller. I've had it, and I think it's marvellous. It really is a strong painkiller, and it might help you settle down a bit. If he's still sore after an hour, they'll be able to give him an injection without causing him too much trouble.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. See you later on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Daniel and Nathan have to join the list of urgent cases already booked in for Fiona's shift.
Right, we've got Chris with a relapsed leukemia. He's not going to be an easy line, as I think that's going to take them a while.
And for a liver biopsy and bone marrow as well.
What, liver biopsy? Oh, goodness, yes, so he is. Now, Colin was talking about a baby that he's threatening to bring across from the maternity hospital for a laparotomy.
What time is that coming?
I don't know. He said the baby's unstable and they might want to bring it across straight away.
Before their operations, Fiona has to fit in a visit to each of her patients on the ward.
You've got to know if the patient's going to have any anaesthetic problems, if they've got any medical conditions. You don't go and see them beforehand. You can make a fatal mistake, so you've got to go and do it. Oh, my bleep. What's my bleep? 2725. You've got to allay their anxieties. That's an important thing for everybody, so you've got to see everybody. Hello, Christopher. I'm Fiona. I'm one of the doctors. I'm one of the anaesthetists.
12-year-old Christopher Haskane has leukemia. He's having chemotherapy through a line into a vein, but the line needs to be changed.
Now, do you know where they're going to put the line?
No.
How many lines have you had before?
That's 2 on the right and this one's on the left.
One's on the left at the moment. Is that infected or...?
No, it's not been. They think there's a hole in it somewhere that it's...
Right. When was your last general anaesthetic?
When he had his line.
When you had the line put in. OK. Have you had anything to drink, Christopher?
No.
Not a thing. When did you come into hospital?
About 8:15 this morning.
8:15. Right, if I'd known I'd have phoned, I thought you'd have got a drink this morning. I knew you weren't going to come until this afternoon. That's my fault, I'm sorry. We could have got you a drink. It's a bit late now because you're next on the list and I'm expecting you to go in about half an hour, 45 minutes. You're a Star Trek fan. A real good Trekkie.
Yeah.
I'll look after you. You're very brave. He's a lovely kid. Now we need some morphine. Who's the keeper of the keys? Have some morphine for the next chappie, please. This is morphine. Very like heroin. Powerful painkiller and used properly. It's very useful. These are controlled drugs. So because it's a substance that we can abuse, 2 people have to check it. People express surprise when we say, I'm one of the doctors. All they know is you give them a needle in the back of the hand and they go off to sleep. I'm terrified of needles myself. I hate having needles put in. I really am quite needle phobic.
You know what I mean?
Oh, you've not managed to throw up. Yes. You have. You've got quite a bit up. Oh dear. Right.
So how old are you now?
12.
And you've come for central line. You're having a lumbar puncture, a bone marrow and a liver biopsy. So we're doing everything under this anaesthetic.
Christopher has had intensive treatment for his leukemia for the last 6 years. This will be his 55th general anaesthetic.
I've changed my mind about the anaesthetic that I'm going to give him. I'm going to give him something that works a little bit faster so that we've got less time him sort of being halfway between awake and asleep. If he vomits as he goes off to sleep, that's a major problem for me. So we'll just change the recipe. Now, what are you dreaming about? Star Trek. Which aspect of Star Trek? Because I'm a bit of an expert.
Oh, you see, mate.
Next Gen. Okay. I like Next Gen. I think Next Gen's the best part of Star Trek. The new film, yeah. What, First Contact?
Yeah.
December the 13th, isn't it?
June.
Sorry?
10 June.
Just get onto the flight deck in the captain's chair. And away you go. Have some sweet dreams, eh? Now, how are you doing there?
Thanks very much.
Thanks very much. You can take Mum back to the ward. Right. Paul's now got some cricoid pressure on, which is hopefully stopping this young man being sick as he goes off to sleep. That would be a very difficult situation because it might contaminate his airway and he would end up with vomit in his lungs. And basically that's a bit of a disaster. So I've actually given him something called a muscle relaxant, which paralyses him. The reason I've paralysed him is I'm about to put a tube into his trachea to ventilate him through. And in order to put that down safely without having him cough, I want him paralysed so that he doesn't move. The stuff that we use to paralyse is the same stuff the South American Indians used to poison small animals in blow darts, curare, and
Monkeys.
the monkeys. Is it monkeys they were paralysing?
Monkeys out the trees, yeah.
Oh yeah, to get the monkeys out of the trees they put poison and then blow darts. Right.
The surgeon working with Fiona today is Colin Bailey.
Last time Colin and I had to put in a line, I was going out to dinner and my friend arrived at 5:30 to take me out to dinner and we left the hospital at 9:15 and we were doing exactly this, putting in a line. My friend had to wait.
Friend.
He's an anaesthetist actually, so he understood. Let's hope Mr. Bailey doesn't take 4 hours this time.
On the same ward as Christopher is Nikita Ireland. Yesterday was her 6th birthday. 2 weeks ago, Nikita was given a dose of high-level chemotherapy to fight her cancer. Now she needs treatment for the side effects, and she's back at Alder with her mother, Kerry.
Nikita's been very poorly all week. We came in on Saturday. She was vomiting, she couldn't keep her medicine down. When we came in, she was dehydrated. She was put onto intravenous food, fluids, and all her medication was put onto IV drips. And she's on morphine for all the pain because her mouth is really swollen. She can't eat or drink, and her mouth's just pumping with blood.
Nikita's sister Petra has been with her each time she's come into hospital.
You've got some oozing there around your mouth. Shall we sort it out now? We don't want to be giving you all this blood and then it oozing out your mouth, do we? Hey.
She was all yesterday with morphine and everything. It was a bit upsetting, you know, with it being a birthday and everything.
But a nice soak. That's it.
It is really hard when you see, you know, being ill. You say, why is Nikita got to be ill? Why can't it just be me or somebody?
Nikita is suffering from infections because the powerful chemotherapy designed to destroy her cancer cells has also destroyed her immune system. Before her chemotherapy 2 weeks ago, special cells called stem cells were collected from Nikita's blood and frozen. They've been put back into her body to help her bone marrow regrow. This should enable her immune system to recover. Now the family is waiting to see if the critical white cells which provide immunity will reappear in her blood.
Nikita's white cell count is very low at the moment. It's actually been 0 for quite a few days. We're waiting at the moment to see a little bit of life in it, maybe a little bit of a flicker, to try and show that the bone marrow is actually regenerating and making blood cells again.
Nikita and Kerry will hear later today whether there has been any improvement. In theatre, Christopher's operation is almost finished.
That's the tube that you saw me put into his trachea. That's the line that we've just put in.
With Christopher in the recovery room, Fiona can leave to see another patient who has come onto one of the wards.
While we've been in theatre, there have been other cases booked. We've got a little girl, Chloe, with a cut on her face, and I'm just about to go and see her and make sure she's okay for an anaesthetic. Is she on any medicines at all? What actually happened to her face?
She was in school and seemingly they were going from the classroom and they opened the door, this little lad, and to help everybody pass, but his foot was out, not looking where she was going, straight over it and into a bookcase.
So I hit it on a bookcase. Hi Chloe, so you cut your face in the bookcase? Is it sore? Is it? I bet it is. Who was it that opened the door? One of the boys? Willie?
Lee Whelan.
Oh, Lee Whelan, all right. So what will happen is a little later on, it's probably going to be quite a while now, about 8:30 or 9 o'clock tonight before your turn for your operation. So I'm going to give you a drink just now so that you don't get too thirsty, okay? Now, I'm being bleeped, what's this all about? That's theatre. I want to know what I'm up to. Okay, we've got the appendix next, that's Nathan, and then we've to get the little baby across from maternity.
Have we got to ring them out first?
Just
sending it for 6 unless they hear any different.
I don't know, we need to check that with Colin Bailey. We'll have to check that with Colin.
It's now 4 o'clock, 6 hours since Nathan arrived in casualty with suspected appendicitis.
And you just breathe normally there?
I'm just going to give you the sleep medicine and it'll take you off to sleep. What are you going to dream about? You've got to think of something quick. Something nice. You a football fan? Right, think about the football. What's your team? Manchester United. There we are. Are you comfortable? Pass him off to sleep. We'll take good care of him. Come and give him a wee kiss. Go on. You'll be back in about an hour. Yeah, she was a bit.
Fiona will now insert a tube to take over Nathan's breathing.
The most common reason for an anaesthetist to get sued is damage to the teeth. Because you're hurrying, you can sort of hit the teeth with, you know, all this metal work. I've certainly chipped a few teeth in my time, 1 or 2. Right, we're ready. Let's go into theatre.
Colin is joined by another surgeon, Graham Ferns, for this operation.
It's probably the most common emergency operation that we do on children, but it can be tricky. I mean, there's no doubt about it. There we are. That's the appendix that Dr. Ferns is just getting a hold of now. So there's some free fluid in the abdomen, which suggests that the diagnosis is right, which is always a relief because you get a lot of stick from the anaesthetist if you've got it wrong.
Oh, you got it right this time, Colin.
Well, he needs an operation because of all this horrible stuff coming out now.
Afterwards, because he has got quite bad appendicitis, Nathan is going to be sore. He's got an incision, 2-3 inches long on his side, and we find that after they have an appendix as bad as this, and speaking from personal experience, it is painful. So, yeah, it's so. Shows yourself. I'm not going to get my scar out for you, don't worry. I do normally. So what I'm going to do is Nathan is going to have morphine, and he's going to have it at a rate controlled by himself. It's going to go into this machine. I'm just about to draw it up. Basically, it's a syringe pump, and all you do is press a button every time you want a dose of morphine. I used the maximum dose when I had one. So I don't know what that says about my pain threshold. But I never used to give people this for appendicitis till I had a perforated appendix myself 2 years ago. And it was incredibly painful, so I don't think I should withhold this. Is that L1? I gave him a drink. Paul just took a call from one of the wards to find out if one of the little lads, the little boy with the piece of glass in his foot, we've just given him a drink. He must be thirsty, he must have asked.
Daniel's operation may be further delayed. The premature baby the team has been preparing for all day is being rushed through Liverpool from a maternity hospital 30 miles away.
Bye then.
We've turned the temperature up in preparation for the 800-gram baby. We don't want the child losing too much heat, so I'm afraid Graham's had to operate under sweltering conditions in anticipation of the baby. And it'll get even hotter once we get the baby into theatre. Sweat even more, eh, Graham?
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
It's 6 o'clock when Natasha Smith arrives at Alder, where specialist neonatal surgeons have the expertise to operate on such small babies. Natasha was born 15 weeks premature and weighs only 800 grams, 1.75 pounds. She urgently needs an operation to repair a hole in her bowel.
Well, it's all gone a bit chaotic. We're going to finish off Nathan, obviously. He's just having his appendectomy scar stitched up. The 800-gram baby has just arrived and is parked in a transport incubator in the anaesthetic room. And once we've done the 800-gram baby, we've actually got an 18-month-old with a ruptured diaphragm. That's an urgent case and has jumped the queue. The little boy with the glass in his foot is going to have to wait, as is the little girl with a cut on her face. Suction in the hand. So there's a little baby under there who needs an operation, but we've been held up because we don't have any blood cross match for her. Just means that we'll be working extra later on, probably in the early hours. Lovely. Oh gosh, it is. It's women drivers, that's the problem. Nathan didn't notice. You open your eyes for me, Nathan. That's a good lad. Your operation's all finished. It's time to wake up. Let me get that phone. Recovery.
Fiona is called down to casualty again. A 2-year-old girl has been rushed in unconscious.
Yeah, all right, honey.
But you say she's a known fitter anyway?
Well, she has fitted in the past, but she was in the bath and she was left for about 30 seconds when they went in to get her night clothes. When they came back in, she'd actually slid under the water. Right. They got her out of the bath and she appeared to be having a fit.
As Leanne's condition becomes worse, Fiona takes control of her breathing.
Do you think she needs a CT scan?
Well, I think we can afford to get the X-ray, put on antibiotics, get her settled on ITU, and then make a decision.
What would sway you either way? Because she's going to remain sedated and paralysed, and you're not going to get much information other than her pupils.
I agree.
So I would rather CT her on the way to ITU than have to go to ITU and then come back out. Is it all sensible?
That's initially what I said.
Right, we're not going to get the notes. The reality of it is we're not going to get the notes. So we're better off pushing harder for a CT scan again.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm just stop breathing when I...
Yeah, certainly can.
Shout. Good, everybody clear out.
Leanne's mother has arrived.
You're right.
She can't feel anything. You see, if you have a fit for a long time or you've breathed in water, it can stop you getting oxygen to your brain. I think she'll be all right very soon. Give her a kiss if you want. Go on. Give her a kiss. There. She just feels like ordinary, doesn't she? Yeah.
I'm actually going to change the tube to a nasal tube. What state are we at CT? Have they agreed to do a CT? Right, and they've decided to go ahead because we can't get the notes. Right, can I change the tube very quickly? It'll literally take me a couple of minutes because CT are going to be a wee while before they're fired up and ready to go.
Collapse, query epileptic seizure.
She's had a prolonged fit. We know that she fitted for about 25 minutes and your brain can swell after that. And the other thing is, she was certainly hypoxic. The blood oxygen was low, partly because of a sort of drowning type syndrome. She was underwater for probably 5 minutes, and she was certainly blue when she arrived because of the fit. So it is possible that she may have a degree of brain swelling, and we need to see the CT scan for that.
Do you need it tomorrow? Could do. That one's a bit dodgy.
Now, get that pump down to the bottom and the monitor across before we take her across. Okay, and then get the monitor across. 1, 2, 3, left. Right, you ready with your one?
Fiona hands over to a senior colleague so that she can return to theatre.
Yeah, she had spontaneous circulation.
After the scan, Leanne will be taken to intensive care until she's stable. Upstairs on the oncology ward, Nikita and her family are waiting for the results of the blood test.
Hi, Kerry.
Hi.
Blood count's just come back. Neutrophils are 0.03. That's a little bit. It's a flicker. It's
good.
Brilliant. There's something
About
there at
time.
last. Okay.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll see them picking up a bit more every day now. Okay.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. Everything should start healing now. The swelling should go down. And things are going the right way at last. Hopefully we'll be getting out of here soon once the count starts picking back up now.
Nikita's immune system has begun to recover, but it'll be 3 months before her family finds out whether the chemotherapy has cleared the cancer from her body. It's now 7 o'clock, and the missing blood for Natasha has turned up.
That's what we've been waiting for. Unfortunately, the blood sample was sitting in our security office, not in the lab where it should have been cross-matched. When it comes to babies, I'm an eternal pessimist, and I draw up everything that I could possibly need. Natasha's very stable, considering she has a perforation within her abdomen. But she's got to get through an operation yet, so let's see how she does. Really have to be on your guard with small babies this size, so you don't get a second chance. You've got to be very quick. What setting's that on? It's about 30 degrees centigrade in here at the moment. Okay. We have to keep her well covered up to keep her very warm. This U-shaped sausage is blowing hot air at her, and we stick to our principles. We get her monitored first. Dr. Bowhay? We have no means of taking her blood pressure effectively.
For this operation, Fiona is joined by senior anaesthetist Andrew Bowhay.
Who's not? They haven't got an arterial line in.
Rick Turnock is the specialist neonatal surgeon who will perform Natasha's operation.
No. This little baby who's in the smaller end of the spectrum that we deal with weighs only 800 grams. We know that these premature babies do have a potential problem with their bowel, a condition called necrotizing enterocolitis, which put into simple terms means the bowel gets deprived of oxygen because the oxygen's diverted to the brain and the heart. And the bowel doesn't like it, and it can become inflamed, or it can actually start to sort of die. Or, as we think with Natasha, that actually most of the bowel's okay, but one little area's become thin and has burst. And when we look at the X-ray, the air here is in the bowel, and that's normal, but the air here is not in the right place, and that indicates that there's been a perforation, and that's really the main reason to operate. There's no time like the present. She's in pretty good condition, and she's only likely to get worse from now on.
An adult can be 100 times bigger than this infant. 80 kilograms is 100 times bigger than this infant. She's tiny. It's a heck of a lot more difficult to anaesthetise someone this size. We can't even take her blood pressure because she's so small, and our instruments don't work. This is the real skill of paediatric anaesthesia. This is, where I'm learning. I think most of the children I've anaesthetised today have been very routine. This is what I want to learn about, to be a paediatric anaesthetist. That's why this bloke's here, to make sure that I learn something and do it properly.
You need a green card.
We've still not managed to take her blood pressure. Normally the blood pressure gives an indication of how well perfused the child is, but we're just going to have to use a little bit of guesswork.
This abdomen is a bit of a mess. We've got a lot of baby stool. The bowel is all matted together. It really is not pleasant at all, which at least makes we made the right decision. Ugh, look at that.
1 hour into the operation, Natasha's condition is becoming a problem for the anaesthetists.
Natasha's experiencing one of the problems that's very common in this age group. She's got very cold. She's now hypothermic. Her temperature is 35 degrees centigrade. She's cooled down despite our best efforts. We're trying to get the warm air, which is in a sort of circle round about her. We're trying to get that closer to her.
We make sure that we work our way logically along the bowel making sure that everything's healthy until we get to the bit where it's leaking. And then we go further on from that and make sure that the rest of the bowel beyond that's all right. And then we come back and concentrate on getting the bit where the leak is sorted out.
While all of this is going on, we're sort of beavering away up here. She's actually having a blood transfusion. Normally you give someone a pint of blood. House comes in a 10ml syringe. So that's about
2 teaspoons.
2 teaspoonfuls. And
yeah, another one.
it's not anything like a pint. But
to her
that's
it is.
the equivalent
To her
of a pint
it is.
for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. This is the piece of bowel. There's about 10 centimetres or so, which is not too much for a baby of this age. And as you can see, this is the bowel. It looks all sort of worm-like, but that's the end. And normally it should be joined up, but in fact you can see there's a hole there. Look. Colin's just tidying the end of the bowel prior to joining the 2 ends together, which is where the real skill comes.
I just solved the temperature problem. We're warming it up now.
Right, smashing. Pop it all back and let's close up the abdomen.
Sorry, I think the other one's too big.
Do you want to adjust your bear hugger?
It's 11 o'clock by the time Natasha is ready to be returned to her mother at the maternity hospital.
Yeah. Say when?
Go for it.
1, 2, 3.
Go on.
Other side. Good. It's all right. It's no problem.
Yeah, that's just that.
That's it.
Smashing. We just got to wait for people from the women's hospital to come pick it up.
We've had quite a busy, hectic day. And for that reason, I've just missed a couple of meal times. It happens. You go hungry, you get thin. I'll make up for it tomorrow, don't worry.
After one more straightforward operation, Fiona can finally get to bed in the hospital's duty room. It's 3 in the morning, and she's on call for another 8 hours.
That's to stop it rattling. The bleep's on all night. They can get in touch with me if they want.
The operations to remove the piece of glass from Daniel's foot and the cut in Chloe's face were postponed until the next day. Leanne spent one night in intensive care before leaving Alder. She's had no more fits. Baby Natasha is now at home with her mother and doing well. And after 2 hours sleep, Fiona was called back down to casualty.